Hi there, I'm Christy. Welcome to my channel. I am currently in northern Alberta, Canada, and on my channel I showcase our lifestyle, which is a homesteading slash hobby farm sort of lifestyle. One of my main focuses is food sustainability. We live in a very short growing season. Our climate is really cold, and we have a very short window of actually to be able to grow anything. And so I have to really strategize and maximize the amount of production I am growing and doing here so that I can actually basically get everything done in a very short window to be able to have enough food sustainability for the entire year. So those are things like potatoes and tomatoes and peppers and all those different things, root vegetables of all sorts and stuff like that, and preservation. But I also do a lot of food preservation and cooking with freeze-dried goods, and I have a harvest right freeze dryer. So on this channel, you see a little bit of everything. Today I am participating in the Three Rivers Homestead Challenge, which is called the Three Rivers Challenge, and I am going to be preparing things that I have on hand. In case you hadn't noticed, I am from Alberta, and in Canada we are experiencing some shortages because of the truckers' convoy to freedom. And so we were already experiencing some shortages here before the protests began. And the reason we were experiencing shortages before the protests began was because our great truckers that haul our groceries and keep our supply chain moving, they had so many mandates that they were actually not able to work. They would do one trip and then didn't matter if they were vaccinated or not. It was the mandates were keeping them at home. So there was just not enough people able to work because of all the rules. And so we started to get less and less food on our shelves because the rules were keeping anyone from going and doing their jobs. So now with the convoy, we really are experiencing more shortages because a lot more truckers are unable to get up here, and a lot of them are speaking their truth, even though some of the media has it hijacked a little bit to say that it's an anti-vaxxer, whatever. It's not what it seems. It's not what it appears. Part of me being able to do these pantry challenges and be able to cook from scratch and cook from what I have on hand, I have to grow those foods, I have to preserve those foods, and I have to do it in a way that is really efficient because we only have 100 days to grow and harvest in our climate. And also growing food in our climate here in Canada in the north is really expensive because a lot of produce like peppers, they really like very, very, very warm weather, and tomatoes, a lot of them don't do well in the temperatures that we have, and our season is just not long enough or hot enough. So I do have to have infrastructure in some of the things that I want to grow. An example is eggplant. This year I'm growing eggplant or artichokes. Even though sometimes there are certain varieties of food that might be considered as cold hardy, such as cabbage or brassicas, our pest pressure is so bad here that I still need to have infrastructure. So growing stuff to sustain our family is really expensive. So I also share on this channel the journey of actually being more sustainable and better stewards of our land, which is by flower farming. I grow cut flowers and I sell my cut flowers to local florists. Now, I started doing this a couple years ago, just bit by bit. Last year, I started to harvest whatever I had in my garden, and I would take it in and I would sell it to whichever florists were interested in buying my flowers. And what was going on is it was able to buy me the jars. It was able to buy me the groceries. It was able to buy me the school shoes. It was able to, it started to pay for things. And then pretty soon I started to realize, the more I do a little bit by little bit, the more it helps with me being able to grow food and having virtually no cost, because the flower farming, it paid for the preservation because it bought the jars, right? So I realized that this was going to be the best fit for our family moving forward, to balance out and be better stewards of our land and to be more sustainable and efficient with how we're growing, what we're growing. I'm already doing the work. I already have to have the heated greenhouse. I may as well make money doing it, since selling vegetables up in our area just really isn't very profitable. Because lots of people have their people that they already support with their market gardens. So getting established as a new market gardener, one, it's really challenging to do when you don't have the experience, like I learned last year when I was just trying to do specific varieties of foods, like peppers and tomatoes for the canning community in our area. I was wiped out because I didn't have the infrastructure. I got wiped out with early frost, and I also got wiped out with 2 really excruciatingly bad hailstorms that were nowhere on the radar. They weren't supposed to happen in these spontaneous thunderstorms. So I needed to balance things out, and this is what this channel is. It's a little bit of everything, and so I'm trying to, right now I am doing Pantry challenge stuff. I'm doing seed starting. I'm looking in my pantry and seeing what can I start for food, but I'm also looking at the flower farm stuff and saying, what do I need to start so I can have early flowers? What can I balance out with these early flowers, and what could I grow for early food crops so I can begin food preservation as I'm growing these cut flowers for my florists? And I'm thinking about wedding season. I'm thinking about all these different things. So now is a really great time for me to be thinking about this stuff, because I'm seeing the shortages. We are, right now we're kind of locked up here in Alberta a little bit because of the protests and stuff. And, I know lots of people have been asking on other media platforms. Some of you watching, you do follow me on Instagram, and you also follow me on Facebook. And, some of you have been messaging and saying, I hope you're okay. And I really appreciate your care and concern. We are good. And the thing with the media, you do have to remember, I know some of you that are in different countries, or even some of you that are in Canada, are not sure what's actually happening. And why are the truckers protesting, and why are they blockading you into, from the States? Why is stuff not coming through? And one of the things that I think people are not aware of is that here in Canada, our mandates for the COVID-19 have been very different than what it's been most other places. So like I said, a truck driver that brings food, or even like vehicle parts or whatever from the States that comes into Canada, he mandatory has to stay home and quarantine. Doesn't matter whatever reason, they have to quarantine. So it's really hard to feed your family if you're only able to make 2 trips a month, go to work twice a month. It's really challenging to not lose everything. And we're going on 2 years of this kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of them were not able to work at all because of the mandates. I was one of the people in 2020 when all of the policies came into place. I was one of the people that had a small business, and my small business closed, could not reopen because of all the things that come along with COVID and the mandates and stuff. So I took a very big financial loss. And, I was still recovering from the wildfires that occurred here that had me evacuated, and I lost a lot of income based on what occurred when that occurred. In Quebec, you have to have a vaccine passport in order to go into a big store over a certain amount of square feet. If you're 13 years and older, you have to show a vaccine passport in order to enter in Walmart, which, I'm not sure if that's something that most countries have, but a lot of people who are unable to have a vaccine because of medical reasons, they can't even go to their own jobs. So it makes it really, really challenging for people like the working class of people to be able to make a living. And it's just, there's been so many things. One of the other things that happened here that a lot of people are protesting about is being a small business and finally being able to open the doors, and then you're the one that is responsible for monitoring who has passports and actually looking at their personal information and scanning their documentation. To a small business owner, if you only have yourself or one other person working for you and you're barely making ends meet, it's really hard to hire another person to stand as a security at your door. And then there's the moral side of that as well. A lot of people are really having a struggle with the news. You cannot always listen to what is on the news. It's not a riot. I've listened to many countries' news broadcasts about what's going on here, and it really is not about a riot. I just watched a news release that a lot of the fines that were handed out, there was tons of fines handed out, like 150 or something was, I don't know for sure, I don't remember, but it was like crazy number, like 150 in that area of fines that were given out at this protest in Ottawa. And I'm like, really? So I was doing some research because I actually know people who are there, and I watch the live streams. There's several people that walk around with cameras live streaming the protests, and you see police officers interacting, laughing, having a good time with the people. It's organized. The traffic can get through. Businesses are still open. They're very civil. That's very, very peaceful. I seen grandmothers delivering muffins, and they made cupcakes, and there was even officers handing out cupcakes that were brought by an elderly woman who baked. They're having a dance party right now.
The beautiful thing about living in Canada is that these people have the constitutional rights to be here having a dance party and protest. Even though there are reports of violence or things that are illegal in some cases, there are many people that travel a highway and don't wear a seatbelt or that speed that are in violation of policy and the law. But it doesn't mean that no one else has the right to travel on that highway because of one wrongdoing. And I'd really hope to invite you to consider that before judging.
It's very, very peaceful. But what I learned and seen clips of, multiple people have shared clips. They've since been taken down, but there is some resistance. People don't want them there because they're honking their horns and they're noisy. And so a lot of the fines were actually given to people who are anti-protesting the protesters. So it was like a counter protest against the protesters, and those are the people that were getting into fights. And they were the ones that were fined. A lot of it is just spun around. But basically those trucks, they're there because our Prime Minister has said he thinks that it's a fringe minority, and he believes it's just a bunch of racists and anti-vaxxers, and most of it is just hogwash. So he doesn't want to have any engagement with them. He's not giving them any of his time. So he actually went into hiding, undisclosed location. They're actually having a dance party right now on Sussex Street. And they have a trailer with some big speakers. They're all dancing and having a good time. I highly recommend, if you're curious of what's actually going on in our great country, go watch some of the live streams, like ottowalks. They walk you through the protest and show you via live stream of what's really happening in Canada, and then you can make a decision for yourself. I seen that they had like pizza. They had like what are those? They were making pizzas in those pizza ovens and stuff, and they're just there wanting to be heard. And so it's not what a lot of the news is saying. I do know that there was a counter protest that was trying to happen, and there's some people that are against them because they are believing that they're anti-vaxxers, which most of the people there are not anti-vaxxers. They are fully vaccinated, but they just can't go to work, and they just want things to change. So there's that side of things that is always going to be heated, and there's always going to be the few people that are, you know. I try to stay neutral. I have friends that are on both sides of the spectrum. Molly. I have friends that are on both sides with their beliefs, that some that are really afraid, but some that, you know, they don't have to go across the border to go to work. They don't have to go from province to province to go to work, because they also have to quarantine when they go from province to province in Canada, not just to the States. So there's a lot of mandates that are really, they make it impossible for people to make a living, and they're going to lose everything. Like, it's breaking our economy completely on the working class and making the middle class people really, really poor. So that's why they are protesting. It's not because they are conspiracy theorists or anything like that. I myself, I am fully vaccinated, and I support my truckers because, you know, my husband is a trucker, and so is, you know, I have a great respect for what goes into the day-to-day for those people and the sacrifice that they make. They are away from their families, and the minimal risk of getting COVID from a truck driver, because they basically are in their truck and they do their job and they go from A to B. It's not like they are a really big risk. So I do support them. And no, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. No, I don't wear a tinfoil hat like my prime minister says I do.
Continuation of what we've unfortunately seen in disinformation and misinformation online, conspiracy theorists about microchips, about, you know, God knows what else that go with the tinfoil hats. We have been clear every step of the way that the work our frontline health workers, the work our scientists and researchers are doing, the people at Health Canada, the people working on these vaccines all around the world, is the work that will get us through this, get us back to the things we love. So yes, the concerns expressed by a few people gathered in Ottawa right now are not new, not surprising.
And no, I'm not a conspiracy theorist like my prime minister said I am. If you're following the story in Canada for the Convoy to Freedom, I hope that you do watch some of the live streams that are actually happening. ottowalks, OTTOWALKS. I watch that live stream every day. I try to like educate myself. If I see a news story, I go and I watch the real truth and I see what's unfolding. And there's multiple live streams of the whole protest going on all the time. So I hope that you do watch that and keep yourself informed of what is happening here in Canada. Before listening to everything you hear on mainstream media. Freedom Convoy has raised enough money in Canada that those trucks can sit there in Ottawa for 2 to 4 years. So it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. It is true Canadian fashion to be kind and loving and friendly and hopeful. And that's what this is about. It's about a country who is buckling and saying, we're the land of the free. So that's what this is about. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this little pantry challenge. I am looking forward to sharing this with you. It's always fun to be able to do things like this. I would have done a lot more today for the pantry challenge. My sewer backed up last night because of our sewer froze with the cold temperatures that we've been having here. So I have had a mess to clean up, and actually Payson was working on the septic system today, and so everything has just been delayed. So you're going to not get as much as I was planning to share with you today, but I hope you enjoy what I did prepare, and tell me in the comments, let me know below, what are you creating for dinner tonight, and what items did you use out of your pantry?
Snowstorm, Max. It's snowing. Let's go shopping. Come on. You wanna come shopping?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what a disaster. Clean up on aisle 1. Look out. Look out. Woof you. Hey, Tom Tom. Okay, so we need potatoes. Hardly made a dent on my potatoes. I have so many potatoes. There's just a ton of them. This one, some weird stuff going on with it. It's getting soft. Most of them look good though. One more. Hey, Mr. Ned. Ned? Hey, buddy, are you still drooling? He has a birth defect and he sometimes drools and he sometimes starts walking in circles and can't balance himself out and walk straight. So, hey Ned, how you doing, buddy? I want to make like mashed potatoes and kind of like a Salisbury steak with with a gravy. So I'm gonna use some beef bone broth that I had canned up. And we just need I have some hamburgers that I want to use up as well. So we'll go to the freezer. Hey, Mr. Ned. Those aren't for you. And I think maybe corn. Take some corn in. Chaz is doing chores tonight because he got to come home from school early. Hi, Chaz. These guys. A whole bunch of these beef burgers that I want to use up. Also need onion. Okay. I wanted to do the pumpkins today. I was going to start doing them this morning. I'm processing all them because I need this grow shelf to do seed starting. It has a lot of my lights on there for seed starting for my flower farm and my vegetables. So to cook up these burgers, I decided I wanted to put them on the grill and get them fried up so I can get them nicely seasoned. They have a lot of fat in them. When I got these burgers, they come from a local restaurant. In 2020, when they shut down all of our businesses, all the small businesses, non-essential businesses, including the restaurants and the truck stop where these came from, they had been open and closed multiple times. And so the business owner was selling a lot of inventory and then bringing stuff in, and I was ordering or purchasing just to help them out so they could stay in business. So I want to use these up today. They are really good burgers, but they are very, very fatty. So what I did is I just sliced up some onions and then I put these burgers on top. And then I just took some garlic and pressed some fresh garlic on top. I had seasoned the burgers while they were cooking with onion and garlic, seasoning salt and pepper. And so it was really simple, just trying to keep it simple. That little garlic press and we have a love-hate relationship. I just seasoned it with some more pepper, and I also put some Worcestershire sauce. And I know some of you think it's hilarious how I say that, but I just don't know how to say it any other way. So then I dumped on some of the beef broth that I had canned up. This was actually a bone broth that I had made with some garden vegetables and beef bones from one of our grass-fed beef from a family member. And I actually forgot to put onions in between the burgers, so I just put some chopped up onions or sliced onions in between the layers of burgers and then added the rest of the broth. And just like that, I put some more salt and pepper on it and threw it into the oven to bake and slow roast. I actually added seasoning salt instead of regular salt.
So how was school today?
Got canceled early.
Has that ever happened before in your school career?
Never in my life, because, well, I had to go home early on the bus because if we waited longer, probably couldn't get through all the snow because it's been snowing all day. It's probably about 1.5 feet of snow, so yeah.
Well, you got sent home, like schools ended because of the snow, like the buses didn't run, but like they actually legit sent the buses home an hour and a half early in the whole school division, right?
Yeah, I heard on the radio this morning that a bunch of buses were canceled, but so I was surprised that they're even running.
Huh. Yeah, I could have had so much work for you to do today.
Oh yeah?
To cook up this homegrown corn, I just added some olive oil into a pan and I had it get really nice and hot. I also wanted to use up this corn seasoning. I have this for making dips and using on popcorn, but I had like a half of a package of this left, so I thought I would add it into the corn. I've never done it this way and I just was kind of trying an experiment. So simply I just dumped it in and then I added a little bit of butter and I just let that heat through. It really it was good. It was the right amount of seasoning. It wasn't overpowering and it had a little bit of heat, which was really nice, and it went really well with the meal. So I had cooked the potatoes and added some butter and cream and mashed it up. While I was doing that, I noticed Jessica from Roots and Refuge was milking her cow, and I was just thinking as I was mashing these potatoes with the cream and butter that I really wish it wasn't illegal in Canada to have raw dairy products. So next, I just seasoned it with some pepper and granulated garlic and a little bit more cream. And this is what the hamburgers look like after I pulled them out of the oven. So this is what it looked like served up. It's basically just a truck stop dinner, which is quite suiting for today. Tyson, my husband, really enjoyed the meal as well, and I actually liked it too. Super easy and delicious. Mr. Taste Tester. You know what's kind of funny? You're doing the taste test for the Pantry challenge. Look what just happened. That lady right there, that's Jessica, and she's the host of this challenge. So all of this yummy food that you get to taste test for our YouTube friends, it's all because of her unique design. By the way, it's hot.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What'd you try?
I tried the potatoes and the corn, and it's really good.
What about the meat? Which, by the way, oh. You like it?
Mm-hmm.
So one of your favorite foods is onions, right?
Yeah.
Even when I tried to prank you with a candied apple onion, but you pranked me because you ate it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you give it for a score for dinner out of 10?
Definitely 10 for sure.
A 10?
Yeah.
All of it?
Uh-huh. I love it.
You love it. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying the content and seeing what we're doing on the homestead, how I'm cooking, how I'm growing, what I'm doing, please make sure you give a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button so that you can come back. I'd love to connect with you again. Take care. Much love. Bye for now. Now, it's a really good thing that I have all of you YouTube friends, because I went onto Facebook this morning and I'm looking around. I'm like, guys, where are you? It's so quiet. And I realized a lot of my friends are in Facebook jail.